Please stop. Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking a picture and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Remember when this now infamous video blew up back in the summer of 2020? Well, now 3 years later from when it happened, Central Park Care is back in the news and making headlines again.
Excuse me?
Birdwatcher Christian Cooper began filming Amy Cooper after he gave her dog a treat and asked her to put the dog back on the leash as we see Amy roughly drag and pull her furry friend.
I'm sorry, I'm in the ramble, and there is a man, African-American, he has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African-American man, I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. And my... I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please send the cops immediately. I'm in Central Park in the ramble. I don't know.
Thank you.
It cannot be overstated how dangerous making false claims like this to the police can be. One of the most pressing issues with policing in America today, aside from officers having legal protections to use excessive force against civilians, is a systemic lack of accountability. We have seen far too many examples of officers getting away with acts of violence on the job, and Central Park Care put Christian in the position to have something similar happen to him. Speaking with NBC News, Christian said this immediately after the encounter.
She basically pulled the pin on the race grenade and tried to lob it at me.
She says, though, at one point that you said to her, look, if you're going to do what you want, I'm going to do what I want, and you're not going to like it.
That's absolutely true. At the point that she makes that phone call, it's very clear that, there is no physical threat to her at all. It's the iPhone and the dog treats.
But Christian Cooper says the woman, coincidentally named Amy Cooper, knew exactly what to say to get police to respond.
There is an African-American man, I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog.
She was going to tap into a deep, deep, dark vein of racism, of racial bias that runs through this country and has for centuries.
His sister Melody also echoed the same sentiment.
All I could think of was the police arriving and throwing him to the ground and putting him in a chokehold.
Melody, a writer, was stunned and put the video on Twitter. Why did you think we all needed to see what had happened to your brother?
Please don't come close to me.
I had seen videos like this before. I'm through with it. I'm through with the weaponization of white women's tears, and there's a history of it from Emmett Till, which we all know.
Amy Cooper immediately lost her job with investment firm Franklin Templeton after the video went viral, later apologizing, saying, quote, "I've come to realize, especially today, that I think of the police as a protection agency, and unfortunately, this has caused me to realize that there are so many people in this country that don't have that luxury," which is a true statement and a step in the right direction. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Amy was also facing a misdemeanor charge for falsifying a report against Christian, but the charges were later dropped after she completed a therapy program, which, to be clear, is another step in the right direction for normalizing restorative justice programs and giving evidence that people can learn and grow. But the problem with Amy is that it seems like she hasn't grown and changed all that much, even after having the privilege of attending a rehab program like she did. Amy recently published this insane op-ed in Newsweek, doubling down on her old claims that she's the real victim, once again weaponizing her tears to garner some sympathy from the public by blaming cancel culture, the media, the pandemic for her actions, and the backlash she received in the years since, even admitting that she acted out of fear when calling the cops, having the audacity to say she had no other choice but to call the cops since she felt so threatened by Christian harming her and her dog. This is textbook victim blaming, trying to distance herself from her actions and shift the blame toward Christian. Amy then goes on to accuse Christian of consistently luring off-leash dogs away from their owners in an attempt to discredit Christian's reaction to Amy's racism, once again falling back on the classic fear of being canceled argument instead of producing the evidence necessary to prove these serious allegations and pressing the issue further. Then, in one of the more disgusting portions of her piece, Amy invokes George Floyd's unaliving to argue that her viral video would have been perceived differently by the public if it hadn't occurred on the same day. A wild claim to make, given that the video and Amy's own words speak for themselves, revealing a different side to the same coin that is policing in America. Now, we're not advocating for or justifying any of the death threats and other hate Amy received since going viral, but given all the opportunities and potential for her to change and correct her life, it's difficult to have sympathy for someone like her.